Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. On behalf of Faculty of Business and Technology, UNITA International University, I welcome you to the Hospitality eForum. My name is Rohaiza Abdul Latif, and I'm a senior lecturer and subject matter expert at UNITA, and I will be your moderator or host for this eForum. So today we gather to discuss a very important and relevant issue related to the hospitality and tourism industry, which has impacted the industry, and we will discuss the challenges faced by the hospitality and tourism industry in Malaysia due to this outbreak of COVID-19, and see how the industry move forward together for the new normals in business in order to revive the economic sectors. For this eForum, we will be joining by distinguished panels from diverse sectors of the hospitality and tourism industry to discuss on this topic, and who will share their views and insights and current information pertaining to the impact, challenges of COVID-19 pandemic and way forwards of the new normals in business. Okay, from authority departments, we have a key personnel from Malaysia Association Hotel. Welcome, Mr. Muhammad Halim Marikan, the acting president of MA and certified hotel administrator. Next, distinguished guests from Malaysia Tourism Promotion Board, the senior management personnel. I would like to welcome Yang Berbahagia Datuk Dr. Amar Abdul Ghaffar, the Senior Director of Malaysia Tourism Promotion Board, and he also an adjunct professor with Faculty of Hotel and Tourism Management, UITM. While from the industry players, panels who are joining us today are from the food and beverage sectors, hotel sectors, and travel sectors. From the F&B, food and beverage sectors, we have Tuan Said Al-Faizal Al-Sahab, the Operation Manager of World Group Holding. From the hotel sectors, we have someone with bold experience of more than 20 years in the international hotel industry. Welcome, Mr. Leslie Pereira, the General Manager of Holiday Villa Hotel and Conference Center Subang. From the travel sectors, we have Yang Berbahagia Datuk Syed Muhammad Razif Al Yahya, the Group Managing Director and Group Chief Executive Officer, Sutra Utama Group of Companies in Sdn Bhd. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today. Okay, before we start the eForum, just a little housekeeping to ensure the smooth running of the program. The eForum will be break up in the question and answer session. We will break up into two sessions. The first one will be Q&A relevant to the authority matters after the discussion with MAH and Malaysia Tourism Promotion Board. And it will be hold for 50 minutes. While the second Q&A session is related to the industry sectors related to food and beverage, hotel and travel, which will be after discussion with the panels from Only World Group, Holiday Villa, and Sutra Travel Group. So by doing this, this will better division of discussion, as the first part are related to the regulatory authority and administration from the governments and the association, while the second part of Q&A will be related to the sharing of industry players' experience and insights. And also, I wish to share good news. The industry players are willing to give away freebies, okay, rebate and promotion from the hotel, from the travel agency, and from their food outlet. So make sure you stay put with us to grab this opportunity. So without further delay, we start off the discussion. Perhaps I can start discussion with a bit of introduction of the local tourism industry. Tourism industry has become Number two or number three, income generated to Malaysia for the past 5 years, and it contributed 15.3% last year to the national economy. The outbreak of pandemic COVID-19 has hit Malaysia seriously hard and impacted the industry adversely. The government has announced Movement Control Order, MCO, in March. Pursuant to this, all tourist accommodation premises are allowed to operate at minimum level and limited scale. Due to this, after 3 months of MCO, hotel business has affected as some announced closure, which brings to staff laid off or some to take forced leave. So the first session, the discussion will be with Encik Halim from Precision Hotel. Encik Halim, how does the outbreak of COVID-19 has affected the hotel industry? And how does SMA assist its members in facing the challenges of the pandemic COVID-19? Since some of the hotel has faced closure, staff layoff of forced leave. The floor is yours, Encik Halim.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to thank UNITA for conducting this webinar and to have such distinguished panelists for this afternoon. Welcome to everybody who's joined this webinar. And yes, in fact, this COVID-19, is definitely impacting not only our industry. In fact, the entire tourism industry is impacted, right? And not only locally, but globally. Basically, when we talk about the beginning, the early days of when COVID-19 was found out in China, and since January itself, we started seeing the impact already onto the hospitality business throughout Malaysia. And in particular, the months of December, January, February is usually very high on leisure business. And this is where Malaysia is one of the key destinations for the Chinese market, right? And when the Chinese announced on the COVID-19 and they started doing controls whereby lockdown started happening in China, we started feeling the impact whereby we started seeing hotel bookings from international market started to cancel. And also we started seeing meetings, events, and seminars being postponed. In fact, they did not cancel yet. They postponed it a bit later, hoping that this was just going to be a short-term issue. However, as it got more and more critical, we started seeing all the bookings being canceled, and hence the situation of where our hotels had to start ceasing operation. So when the government announced MCO on the 18th of March, right? Many of our members, and our members comprise of about 1,200 members out of the 4,300 hotels which are licensed and registered with Malaysian Tourism or Tourism Malaysia, And we started getting a lot of inquiries about how to go about in managing the business since there is no business, right? So basically, as we all know, some hotels took the drastic measures of actually closing temporarily or permanently. And this, in fact, started a spiral effect on manpower. Because for a hotel to operate, there are certain key fixed costs, and manpower is actually the highest. So in order for the hotels to survive, definitely management of the cash flow, right? Drastic measures needed to take place. And in fact, we are actually very, very thankful with the first stimulus package, which was announced by the government, whereby there was the ERP and the WSP that was announced. Although it is not enough, then we also understand the government has to also look at the totality of how they manage the country, right? So there were some other proposals that were put in and discussions that were had with tourism industry, tourism ministry. And from the association standpoint, during this period, when we are talking about when MCO was in place, the association, which represents and is the lead hotel industry representative for the industry, we started a survey. We did a survey, in fact, 3 surveys during this time. One in April, one in May, and one in late May or early June. And this was to find out the critical situation of the hotels. Yeah. And this information was shared with the government in order for them to come up with the stimulus package or areas where the industry required a lot of assistance, right? And that's when we had the second stimulus package, which was announced by the Prime Minister, and definitely that will help, such as the extension of the ERP, the extension of the WSP, and also, of course, latest one, the announcement of the RM 1 billion for the tourism industry, right? So apart from engaging with our association members, we had a lot of meetings with, in particular, MOTAC, Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Health, and Ministry of Finance. Yeah, and this was for them to understand better from the association the situations with our members. Of course, the hotels that are registered with Tourism Malaysia, Ministry of Tourism, comprises of 3 key hotel associations, which is MAIBA, which is the Malaysian Association of Budget Hotels, and of course, Malaysian Association of Hotel Owners. Yeah, but together, the 3 of us is the voice of the hotel industry, right? Apart from engaging with the government to let them know the situation of the hotels, we were also engaging with MEF, Malaysian Employers Federation, right? And this is more towards the issues on manpower, whereby hotels were closing and hotels wanted to do some retrenchment scheme, VSS, etc., etc. So MEF gave us quite a lot of advice on how to go about. And at the same time, we actually held a webinar, which was purely on the human resource matter, so that the hotel industry, hotel players was able to understand the do's and don'ts, what can be done and what cannot be done, right? Apart from that, the key work that we did as an association was to come up with the guidelines for the hotels to operate in a safer condition. And this was actually submitted to Ministry of Tourism and Ministry of Health in order for them to review it, to say that the hotel wants to submit this and we would like this to be endorsed by the government, to say that this is the level of standards that we want to have in our hotels. And this, in fact, the association has engaged an audit company, right, to show how serious we are to ensure that our standards are uniform across our association. And this audit company will be doing inspection and making sure that all the hotels are compliant to that guideline. Yeah, and apart from that, the association also act as an advisory to the members to how to recover and how to come up with strategies for marketing, right? Now, apart from just discussing among the hotels, what we have also done is we've discussed with the other tourism players, such as the tourism agents, travel agent agency, Masios, MATA, and then you have Masios, which was the convention and exhibition organizers. We spoke to the shopping malls. So this is also an effort contributed by Ministry of Tourism, whereby YB Menteri actually conducted a meeting with all stakeholders to better understand on the recovery of tourism for Malaysia, right? And also, I understand from the Ministry of Tourism, there is a likelihood of a reformation of the industry in order for us to make Malaysia a great destination again, right? So now we've come to what we call the recovery stage, yeah? And under the recovery stage, whereby announcement has been made to generate more domestic travel, And we foresee that although the announcement has been made recently, we foresee that it will still take a good 2 to 4 months before we actually see a huge growth in domestic travel. One reason is everybody is just coming out from MCO. Everybody is getting back to work. So financial position of many of our domestic travelers, Malaysians for that matter, there are a lot of planning that is required. However, having said that, last weekend was the first weekend after the reopening of borders, right? Interstate travel. And it was reported by our Negeri Sembilan chapter chairman, whereby it was noticed that Port Dickson, there was a lot of traffic in Port Dickson, whereby a lot of people were visiting the beach, and also in Langkawi. So that is a good sign. However, we are still talking to the government, in particular the Ministry of Sports, whereby swimming pool, usage of swimming pool is still not allowed in hotels. So to encourage domestic travel, as we all know, families with young children, swimming pool will become one of the priorities when we talk about traveling locally. Yeah. So we hope that more discussions can be held with that ministry to open the swimming pools for operation under strict SOPs, hopefully. Yeah. And that's being pushed by our secretariat at this moment. And I'm happy to report that out of the last survey that we did, 96% of our hotels are compliant already with the SOPs that was issued by the association. The other 4% is because either they are closed or temporarily closed. Yeah. So we hope that soon things will be back to normal, right? And hotels can start operating. As more restrictions are removed, hotels are starting to see that they are able to operate uh, rather normally. Yeah, we've just had an announcement yesterday that we are able to conduct seminars, meetings, or accept seminars, meetings up to 250 people. Of course, with the SOPs in place. Yeah, we've had a lot of inquiries. A lot of our members have had a lot of inquiries with regards to whether banquet events such as annual dinner, weddings, high tea, all that at the moment is still not allowed. Yeah, because once it's a social gathering and when you're supposed to do social distancing, it doesn't seem to work. Yeah, so we hope eventually when we see the curve flatten towards further dates, this should be happening. Now, in terms of what the hotels are doing to recover, there are a lot of hotels offering e-vouchers. When we say e-vouchers, means there are value-added promotions, and apart from very good rates, you know, a lot of hotels are putting in promotions and packages into the e-vouchers, which can be bought now and used later. Yeah, so it's just to drive the business and of course at the same time to improve cash flow. There is lots of virtual consumer fairs being organized by the travel agent. You'll hear from Datuk Syed Razif later. He's doing one very shortly this week, I think, or following week. You know, and this is the type of collaboration that we do. I've contacted Datuk Syed Razif to say, look, we want the members to write on this, give you even better offers, you know, and this is how we can work together. Because to recover from this situation, we need to work together, all the players in the tourism industry. It's not only hotel, it's not only travel agent, it's not only shopping mall, but everything together, because tourism actually is destination marketing. It's about the destination. Yeah. The other thing that we find our hotels are doing to recover is the F&B team are becoming more creative. As we all know, buffets are not allowed. Yeah. So there are a lot of them doing a lot of creative marketing in terms of how they promote their F&B. Such as, I understand in one of the beach resort in Penang, they are now doing family barbecue. That means each family will be given one area in the garden and they can have a barbecue by themselves, not mixing with the other people. Because we have to realize it, over the last 3 months, many people, especially those living in apartments, it's really now, once we are in RMCO, it's as though that I'm now coming out and being free again. And of course, we want to be able to do things together as a family. Yeah. So at the end of the whole thing, hotels have now got to look not only at customer service, we got to look at customer experience and especially now customer centric. The reason being is because customers are now looking for different ways of enjoying tourism. Yeah. And I have advised some of our members, in fact, all my members, that to start looking at realignment of their market and segments, and also to reset their business. Reset their business in the sense that you got to now start looking at diversifying the business. The old way of running a hotel doesn't work anymore. So you got to make use of the space, in order for us to capitalize on the best way of doing the business. All right, so that's basically what's happened in the last 3 to 4 months with regards to the industry. And we look forward to hear more from the other industry players and panelists in order for all those listening in to get a bigger picture of what's happening with the industry. Thank you very much, Ross. Your microphone, Rose. Puan, your microphone.
Thank you, Jalim. That has been a broad explanation on how the industry has picked up, how the industry has picked up after the MCO, and it seems that the industry will move on positively towards the growing of the business, and they have accepted positively towards the new normal business, and they need to be more creative, and in order to sustain and compete in this situation. All right, next we will listen from the Malaysian Tourism Promotion Board on how does the COVID-19 impacted the tourism industry overall. We will move on to our next panel, Dr. Amar from MTPB. For Malaysia has a plan for a big event, VM 2020, Visit Malaysia 2020, which is supposed to be a big event this year. Unfortunately, following MCO due to the COVID-19, the Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture has decided to cancel Visit Malaysia for the safety of the public and the tourists. So the event is supposed to be the height of tourism activities for this year in boosting the industry, with targeted 30 million visitors and 10 billion Malaysian ringgit in tourism receipt for 2020. The cancellation and Visit Malaysia 2020 and MCO, meaning very limited tourism activities, can be allowed, which has much affected the tourism industry. Dr. Amar, how does the outbreak of COVID-19 has impacted the tourism industry, and what are the actions that the ministry has designed to mitigate the impact of the outbreak? The floor is yours, Dr. Amar.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera to all. Thank you very much again to UNITA for inviting me as one of the panel for this session. And definitely all friends from the industry. I know how worried you are. Okay, this is really a challenge for us, a challenge not only for you who are on the ground, as well as the authority like us. in taking part and to be together to face the challenge and everything. And of course, me, myself, as you know, that I'm the head of Secretariat for Visit Year 2020. I feel frustrated about it. There's a lot of things that we have planned in the pipeline that we cannot carry out. And of course, our target was there. And if nothing happened, we are very optimistic that we will achieve our target accordingly. But these are the challenges that we have to face. And as what Cik Halim mentioned just now, working together is definitely is something that we need to see and how we can go about for this. Yeah. Okay. Okay. My battery is low here. I need them to be here. Uh, tolong. Okay. As we know that when it comes to our industry, uh, we are the most affected when it comes to COVID-19 things. And being that and looking at all the surveys made and other things, even if we were to look at what Atmosphere Survey Group has mentioned earlier, that our industry will be the slowest industry that will be recovering. And they are looking even at 2023 for us to at least 80% or 100% recover to what we are now. So in fact, their survey is a very challenging finding for us, and it doesn't mean that we have to stick to 2023 to recover. So there are a lot of action need to be taken, and we have been talking about it for so long, and I think now our mood should be in the action mode. That we have to do something about it so that we can boost the industry accordingly. Yeah, and as we mentioned that the move taken by MAH, for instance, is a good move when they have the campaign of clean and safe program. I think this is the most important thing that people are looking at now before they go for traveling. Priority will be the safety, the cleanliness, and since that the measure has been taken by MAH and the association members, as what Cik Alim mentioned, 96% are all complying, have complied to that. This is a good move. And as you know that we have a good publicity when the Malaysian government is known as one of the best government that taking care of the COVID-19. Yeah. So all the measures taken by our government, I think, has been a good publicity for us to come back soon, yeah, to the market. And as Tourism Malaysia, we also have designed a few programs, a few activities that we would like to join. I mean, the private sector to join to us as well. Tourism Malaysia has strategized in focusing more on domestic tourism. I think everybody is looking on domestic tourism. A lot of surveys that we read also, everybody has to concentrate on domestic tourism. And we are doing that. Okay, there are a sense of Can you hear me?
Okay, Dr. Amal, please proceed.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, so we can hear you. Please proceed.
Okay, now okay. Now okay.
Can we... Hello.
Okay, Dato'.
Sorry for the interruption. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good, Dato' Amar. Yeah, please proceed.
Tak dengar.
Okay, we can hear you, Dato'. We can hear you.
Ada
Can you put in the chat that we can?
mana dia boleh kat ni?
Mic buka.
Okay, mic buka. Can you hear me now?
We can
Yes.
hear you.
Yeah,
Okay,
Dato',
okay.
we can hear
Let
you.
me continue on that.
Yeah, please continue.
Okay, as I said that Tourism Malaysia had strategized in focusing more on domestic tourism, and there is a sense of urgency to mainly focus on public relation and marketing strategies, which focus on quick win, short-term and long-term strategies. This is the first in PR activation which target generating demand towards domestic, and doing so, a strategy must be put place in getting consumer confidence back on track. Therefore, PR activities are being screwed together towards showcasing back on track. What are the measures taken by the industry? Okay. MOTEC and Tourism Malaysia have been actively participating in the webinar with the industry and implore them to work on SOP, which will help the industry to resume their operation soon as possible. I can use that. Okay. Sorry again for the interruption, everything on this. Some technical on that. And of course, when we are talking about the quick win also, we are putting PR activities towards this and showcasing what are the measures taken by industry to show our seriousness in ensuring the safety of the tourists. So that is the keyword now, the safety of the tourists. We have to take that seriously and see how safe it is for the tourists to be in Malaysia soon. Okay. Okay. I think as I mentioned again, the MAH Clean and Safe certification program will help tourists to ease their concern and provide a guarantee that it is safe to stay in the hotel as long as the SOP. Again, we mentioned about we mentioned about the swimming pool and other things. I think definitely it is a good measure for us to do it. Yeah.
Page 30.
And nobody will stay in the hotel without the swimming pool. I said that the feedback that we have got from others also the same thing. Yeah, like some hotel are offering very cheap room rates, but still that is not attractive enough if your pool is closed. So I hope that something can be done accordingly to this, because as we know that everybody are eager to travel now, but still priority is still the safety and the security of them to travel. So swimming pool is the thing lah, Cik Alim, when we're talking about hotels and other things, resort as well. Yeah. Okay, that is why I think that is a good thing that MAH have taken when it comes to the SOP of this. Okay, we are also leveraging. We are going to leverage more in social media platform available together with the industry to promote initiative as a comeback and the preparedness to accept tourists once intrastate. We're talking about intrastate, interstate travel has been lifted. That has been lifted, and this is a time for us to start moving on that. Okay. Take for example the video produced by Tourism Malaysia, a short and precise message. They are back on track and this video will be placed in all social media platforms as a strategy to gain consumer confidence. This is another keyword, is to get the consumer confidence to come back or to travel. Yeah. So we are doing that. We are also sharing the videos from our travel industry to help to boost domestic tourism. Again, domestic tourism. And of course, we are looking at opinion leader, Insta famous will be part of our PR strategies to influence people to be back on track and generate demand for domestic traveling. So these are the things that we are doing now. We believe that with key opinion leader and also influencer, we can push the market very fast so that people will start traveling accordingly. The second part of our strategy is to focus on the Cuti Cuti Malaysia campaign. All posts in our social media are designed to focus the campaign with hashtag Cuti Cuti Malaysia and generate awareness for domestic tourism. The industry had initiated attractive packages during MCO for future booking. This is where we are creating the mood of book now, travel later, dream now, travel later. And of course, we need the initiative from hotel as well as travel agent, product owners and others. The keyword like Helen mentioned again, I would like, there is a lot of keyword that is mentioned just now for us to work together as a team to make sure that we can boost the domestic tourism as soon as possible, then to make the Malaysian to travel, okay, domestically. Yeah, so we are doing that. There are a lot of interesting packages now that we are also going to highlight that accordingly. We are posting on hotel packages are made available on Facebook, Instagram, and also their websites. YB Minister had urged Travel Association to compile packages and forward it to Tourism Malaysia. So please forward it to us for us to disseminate information through online and offline platform. So we are waiting for you to do that to us. We will compile it and we'll do the promotion for the industry as well. Okay, because we do have our tourist information center nationwide, then this is a good platform to have those packages since TIC has direct engagement with all the FITs. So as part of the short-term strategy, Cuti Cuti Malaysia e-travel fair will be a solution that allow people to book through online. This is another initiative and effort that we are taking. Okay. In fact, we already had a platform on special deal on www.malaysia.travel, okay, which allows the industry to upload their packages for free. Cuti Cuti Malaysia e-travel fair will be another extension to the current site, which will be in bigger scale to be done as part of adapting the new normal. So we are looking into that area, as well as in the long run, we will focus on the MICE domestic, which will help to boost the domestic tourism in a huge volume. I know it's not now for the MICE market, it's quite critical now, but it will be soon. And this is an area or segment that we should not neglect. Okay, so we will continue doing this. Then with the promotion of this also will be done accordingly. Okay, companies should focus on having meetings and planning trips for their employees in Malaysia, not outside Malaysia. We are looking on Malaysia now. Not only it is safe and affordable, it is also to help the economy to be back on track. In essence, gaining consumer confidence and executing the Cuti Cuti Malaysia campaign simultaneously are paramount towards the success of domestic tourism. We can never work alone, as I said, and expect things to go back to the way it is to be. Strategic alliances which have been formed before should be continued under the spirit of kita, hashtag kita jaga kita. So these are the measure that have been in the pipeline for Tourism Malaysia. It is a short-term, mid-term and long-term measure. And if the time permits, I would like to draw your attention to the survey that Tourism Malaysia has done, and on the finding that we have got. This can be the guideline for those who are planning their strategy in terms of promotion and other things. There was a survey done by Tourism Malaysia, of which the finding is 98.8% booking are preferred to be online booking. So this is again the new normal, of which we have to look at online, the importance of online, that it is getting popular now, and everybody, especially the tour operator, the hoteliers, and particularly I'm looking at the small resort operator and other things. They should be prepared for the online booking and other things. Yeah, for travel arrangement, that only 11.6% mentioned that they are still using their tour packages, whereby 88.4% saying that they will definitely do their own independent booking without going through the travel agent in the future. So this is a very challenging thing. I think travel agent or tour operator need to do something about this, to make they are relevant still in the market, and see what kind of services that they can give, what are the value added things that they can give to the consumer on that. Because the indication is 88.4% will do independently. They will do their booking independently without going through travel agent. Yeah, and from the finding also, 88.3% mentioned that they do not need the services of tourist guide. This you are talking about the post-COVID, the post-MCO, and again, uh, this is really something that shocking thing as well. But if 88.3% of our respondent is saying that, because we are looking at 13,797 respondents, and from out of that, 88.3% said they do not need tourist guide anymore. So we have to do something about this. We have to see what are the things and measure to be taken so that the tourist guide profession is still relevant, and how do we do it? Okay, maybe it will be good that now it will be more personal kind of guides, maybe 10 in a group and what so not, or and whatsoever for that. That is the tourist guide. And time frame. This is interesting. We're talking about time frame to travel after COVID. As Cik Alim mentioned just now, they will take at least 4 to 6 months before they start traveling. Yeah. So from the survey, the finding is that 22.6% will take 1 to 2 weeks before they start traveling. 9.5% will take at least 2 to 1 month, 2 weeks to 1 month before they decide to travel. 22.8% will take at least 2 months to 6 months before they start traveling. And the highest is 30.7%. That will take 6 months to 1 year. So this is the highest group that will be traveling after 6 months to 1 year. And 14.4% will only travel after 1 year. So this is another indication, I think, that we can have to look into it, because definitely they are not going to travel immediately. So meanwhile, we have to see what will be our strategy in terms of promoting the industry. So we have to look into this area, because the time frame for them to travel and other things will give a very serious impact to the industry. Okay, and also they are also mentioning that 63.9% will want to travel with family. This is in line with what Sheikh Halim has highlighted just now also, that they stay in apartment, then they need some activities. We are talking about now the consumer or the customer service, the customer experience, and the customer centric when it comes to that, of which we need to realign the market excitement for the tourists, yeah, so that we can cater with the new normal for the traveling pattern and things. So that also an indication, 70.3% was saying that they will only travel domestically. So this is a good thing for domestic market. And 90.2% would prefer to use their own vehicles. This will definitely give some impact to the car rental business and other things. And of course, number one, that is 94.5%, will give the priority to cleanliness and safety. So we are on the right track if we are talking about cleanliness and safety uh, for the post MCO or COVID. Yeah, and places to be avoided is still 91.5% open places, mass gathering. 67.6% will avoid shopping complexes, and 63.1% will avoid theme park. This is another challenge for us because theme park we are talking about now, dry theme park, we will be opening soon, but there are SOP for that, and we have to abide to whatever SOP for this. So theme park will be very challenging for them because people are still scared, people are still worried. But definitely, as I said, that with a good promotion, a good strategy of promotion, uh, integrated effort by everybody in industry, the hotelier, the travel agent, I think definitely we can overcome the problem, and we can make the recovery to be as soon as possible. So I'm looking forward to and the views from and opinion from all the industry players, so that we can work accordingly, and maybe we can just have a big campaign so that will get all the nation to travel, especially domestically. Yeah. So I think that is what I would share. I want to share at this juncture. Then I pass back to Raisa for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Amar, for the very lengthy information and
Raisa?
full of the challenges and impact of COVID-19 on tourism in Malaysia, as well as how the authority get together and with the industry, with the team working with industry player to revive the industry. It is interesting to know that the main thing concerned with the tourism customer is cleanliness, safety, and I think this will be the main point for the industry players to get back the confidence of the consumer to start the tourism activities. And most of them are only prepared to travel within 6 months to 1 year. With that, I think the industry player have to be creative in order to push the market to get into the tourism activity. It should be sooner than that. All right. We shall open the Q&A session for the first part, which has been topic discussed by Encik Halim from MA and also Datuk Dr. Amar from Malaysia Tourism Promotion Board. So with that, I open the Q&A for 50 minutes for you to get more information from both panels. Please, from guests and participants, you may ask the panel. You may also can put your questions in the chat box. We will read out for you. Yes, any questions from the floor? Okay, there's one question here from Fatin Farhana. What do you think of the employees or future graduates in the industry? So I guess it will be, what will be the skills needed for the graduates? Again, looking at as we're moving forward into a new era of practicing new business normal?
Okay, I think I can take this question. Yeah, we have been getting a lot of questions like this from the universities which are offering hospitality and tourism on the future of working in hotels. Now, obviously, for the current moment, the situation looks very, very bad because hotels are closing, there's no tourism, there's no travel. But, this hospitality industry goes back a long, long, long way. It has been it is one of the industry that has survived many, many turbulences. It has been surviving a lot of crisis. And, at the end of the day, the tourism always bounce back by efforts taken by the government, taken by the stakeholders, by the industry players. So if you ask me what is the future, I'm happily to say that the future is there. The question is the universities that provide the syllabus and the topics need to change according to what is happening to the current trend, which means that, apart from providing service, a good service, apart from teaching them about accounting or marketing or public relations, finance, and of course the front office and F&B division as well, or rooms division and F&B division. I think what's important here is to give a little bit more emphasis on digitalization, the use of digitalization in the current. As I mentioned earlier, we have asked our hotel members to realign, to reset themselves according to the new norm, to the current norm. Yeah, I was just mentioning before we started the webinar, now we call it new norm. I think in a month or two, we might not even use the word new anymore because that would be the norm. Yeah. So yes, I believe there will still be future for employees or employers to hire graduates from the hotel and tourism courses. Yeah. Thank you.
Higher learning institution, they are moving towards that as most of the parts of the teaching and learning platform now is on digital. So this is a way of get familiar and exposing students to using technology, and that is where the industry moving towards too, right? So I think the university preparing students towards that, digital marketing, also on the digital operation. So I think most of the higher learning institutions are moving towards that, and I think graduate also will need to be proactive on knowing the current needs by the industry, so that how you can be relevant to the industry and prepared for the industry.
Yeah.
Okay. Any question from the floor before
I would like to add to this.
Yeah, please, Dr. Amaida.
So,
Yep.
sorry, I would like to add to this because I mentioned just now when we are talking about 90, most of them, 80%, will never want to use. I think 98% of our respondent, 88.3%, sorry, was saying that they don't want to use tourist guide services anymore. But again, there's future for the tourist guide. I think we need to be creative on that. We have to look on every aspect of that because tourist guide services might later on be very personalized and other things. So you can make it interesting. So if you are talking about future in terms of career development in the tourism industry, definitely there will be a future for it. But we have to be prepared. We have to make sure that we are having the multitasking kind of things. We can do a lot of job in one time, and we have to master in foreign language. That will be a good thing if you have additional language when it comes to the tourism industry in the future. And also you have to be IT savvy, and definitely you have to have a good personality for you to be in the industry. So I think for those the school leavers or the those who are going to be graduated from the universities and other things. So you have to know that it is important to you to be multitasking, and that will be an additional thing for you if you have foreign languages, okay? And definitely IT savvy is something that you can't neglect, something that you have to make sure they are very good in IT and your personality. So this is an industry that government has invested so much, and we know that we are at the peak when compared to other countries, even in ASEAN countries as well. So don't worry about the future. Okay, be creative, and definitely, as we mentioned, we know that tourism industry will come back again. We are very optimistic on that. Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry, Puan, can I take this question from Muhammad Faiz? It's actually addressed to Dato', but I think I'd like to take this from Muhammad Faiz. Is that okay?
Please, Chalim.
Okay, the question was about having hotels are having pickup and ADR. As example, Langkawi, all the hotels now throw lower rates, but the prices for the transport, such as airline price, are going up or not reasonable. What is Tourism Malaysia doing about it? Okay, I think this is very little that Tourism Malaysia can do, because at the end of the day, you know, it is all dependent on the other tourism players. Yeah. However, I can speak on behalf of the hotel, because at the moment now, I think it's a good time to review how we want to do our rate structures. Yeah. I've always advised the association that we need to now strategize in such a way to make sure that our rates are value and perceived as value for money. Yeah. A lot of our hotels are competing in such a way that, okay, to get the business, I have to throw my rates. To get the business, I have to reduce my rates, give higher discounts. No doubt that's one strategy, but it's not really the best strategy, because Malaysia, as it is probably the lowest in ASEAN in terms of room rates. Yeah. So I think what you need to do is you need to look at the cluster, the location, and the perceived product that you have on how you want to do your pricing. Instead of actually reducing your prices, why don't you consider looking at value-added items into your pricing? Yeah, because even the travel agent, when we talk to them, they will actually say, okay, give me your best rate, you know. But at the end of the day, they can market us better if we have value-added items for them to market the property. So we need to really seriously look at this and give back to the customers. The important thing here is, as they walk in to your hotel and book your hotel, and they calculate back the perceived value that they're getting versus going online to Agoda or Booking.com and just buying based on rates. They only get room rate and maybe a breakfast, but they don't get anything else. So that's why hotels must drive business as much as possible towards the website, their own website, where you can do a lot more on your own website by offering better. If you want to compete with rate, you cannot compete with online travel agent, because these people are always dumping the rate for you. On top of that, you pay commission for the room, for the bookings that they're made. So please consider, in order for you to look at the entire revenue management and the RevPAR for the day, yeah, consider these value addeds. All right, I think that's something that I can suggest and advise Muhammad Faiz. Yeah, thank you.
Dr. Amal, would you like to add anything on this?
Okay, with regards to the airlines, but as what mentioned, we cannot do much on that because logically, when you're talking about number of seats being limited, definitely that will increase the airfare for that. But still, we are looking at the promotion done by airlines. For example, Asia is doing their RM399. So that is a good campaign, of course, and Fireflies also are going to give up to 50% discount. So these are the things that we can look again. Definitely for us, even to go to Sarawak and Sabah now, it is the fare is quite high. But still, again, when we're talking about promotion of domestic tourism, we can do that in Peninsular Malaysia, and Sabah Sarawak can do it there for time being until the situation is okay. But from our survey, as I mentioned just now, that they would want to travel on their own car. This is the indication of, well, traveling. We can encourage them to travel. Maybe our effort working with petrol stations, petrol company, will do something about it, so that we will encourage people to travel using their own car, and we will offer some lucky draw or whatnot, or maybe cashback once they are there. I mean, to have their petrol there. So we are looking at that area of which working with the uh, company, Petronas or Petron for that, so that will encourage people to travel by car. I mean, of course, it doesn't mean that we are not supporting the airlines. So as time goes, there will be a lot of promotion by the airlines, and we are working with them to see that how we can join that. I mean, a combination of airlines and also hotels, for example, and product owner will give better offer to the consumer. So we are looking at that angle, so that they don't feel that airlines, the airfare are expensive, because there will be a lot of value added things to be there, so that this will encourage the nation to travel, especially domestically, using airlines as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Amar. One question from the chat box. This is regards to the new business normal. How about the employee engagement with the new business normal? Are they struggling with the new norm? Perhaps Tuan Halim, this is on behalf of Malaysia Station Hotel. How does the feedback or the response from the hotel employees towards the new business normals?
Okay, I think many of the hotels currently, they have retained a lot of their current employees. Yeah. However, it doesn't stop us looking at new graduates. As Dr. Amar mentioned, there need to be a lot of initiative from the students themselves. Yeah. A lot of people say that hotels are hiring foreign workers and this and that. Yeah. And unfortunately, it's a chicken and egg situation, because we do want to hire the locals. The government has come up with minimum wage criteria, right? However, a lot of the graduates that are coming out to see us, their expectations are very different from what the real world is, right? So, I think you will hear from Mr. Leslie later. When we interview a lot of the young graduates that come out, they have this idea that they are going to be managers straight away. Unfortunately, the hotel industry is an industry that works very much with gained experience that you have from working in the industry. One has to realize that in order for us to be where you want to be in the next 5, 10, 15 years, you need to start from the basics. All right? I've been in the industry 35 years, and I started cleaning pots and pans. I was doing stewarding before. But the initiative, as how Dr. Amar mentioned this now, is how fast, how quick you want to learn the industry. And just because you are wanting to be an expert in food and beverage, that doesn't make you the best. Ideally, one should learn all the different departments in the industry. So when you talk about new norm, and especially now where employers are looking at employees or people who come for interviews who have got more drive, more character, more positive attitude. Because attitude is what we need. Hoteliers are attitude and behavior, positive attitude. Therefore, the skills and the knowledge you can learn, we are most willing to teach you when you come and join us in the industry. And that's why we have internship as well. That's where you learn, but the initiative and how curious you are about the industry, and that will help you move up the ladder faster. Okay, so hiring is not an issue for young graduates. We love to develop more young Malaysians to be great hoteliers. Thank you.
Thank you, Encik Halim, and I hope that has given some inspiration to students going into the fieldwork or going into the industry. So what important is experience, you building yourself towards preparing yourself to the industry. That will be more important. Then you will grow from there. Okay. Actually, there's some more questions in the chat box, but I'm afraid that we cannot take any more because we have allocated 15 minutes and we have the time's up 15 minutes. So if for those who want to get to know more, you can post your query to the committee, which we will give the contact number and the email address at the end of the session. All right. With that, we end the first session of the eForum from the authority. Thank you to Encik Halim from Malaysia Station Hotel and Dr. Amar from Malaysia Tourism Promotion Board. Next, the second session we cover the insights and sharing session from the industry players, which is the food and beverage sector, the hotel sector, and the travel sector. So for the food and beverage sector, I wish to call upon Tuan Syed Al Faisal, the Operation Manager of F&B Attraction Division, Only World Group Holding Berhad. He will share his insights on the development and how does the F&B sector react on the COVID-19 outbreak. Tuan Syed, how has the outbreak impacted the food and beverage sector? And post-pandemic, what is the new area of scope to look upon to revive the business? Yes, the floor is yours, Tuan Syed. Tuan Syed Faisal, could you please on your mic?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you. You can, yes, we can hear you now. Please proceed.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi.
Waalaikumsalam.
Yeah, and good evening, Datuk Dr. Ahmad, Datuk Syed Muhammad Razif, and Encik Halim Malikans, and also Mr. Leslie Pereira. And thanks to UNITA also to have these challenges moving forwards with this COVID actually. Right, actually, when we talk about the impact, I can say that it's a very bad impact to the industry, especially in F&B. What I can say also, actually, most of the outlets, we are looking about 70% drops of businesses. But we talk about uncertainty, actually, it's a danger zones which we convert to opportunity. Right, to turn this advantage to build a very strong business and brand also. And COVID-19 also is so sudden, right? It means that it will never be the same, you know. So we need to prepare, we need to rethink for the future, and then we act fast. how we overcome, actually, we need to have a very right approach and method, to manage it, control, and to focus to all these struggling part. I can call it a very struggling parts. So we keep main things, main agenda. Right. The most important thing, actually, we create a very strong team. Right. Then watch at our costs and wastages, and learn some of our what we call as best lessons comes hand in hand, and also about the decision making. So at the same time, actually, what is happening now is also compass us to grow better, and to react and be very proactive. So even though we cannot dine in, this is the most challenges. We cannot dine in, so we divert our businesses to a lot of e-hailing, and then of course e-commerce. Because now we can say that 91% of people search online, and then 64% above of people purchase online. So we need to know where we stand. We need to use all these third-party e-hailings. We use Grab. We use Grab for selling our Ramadan. We selling also use Grab Food Panda for our Shawwal packages. But I don't take off on that buyer, actually. We're selling a lot of Shawwal package, Shukran, Alhamdulillah, even though it's not too much, but what I can say, the business need to sustain, to make us continue our businesses. So I think that's about it. And then we're talking about this confidence. The business picking up a bit last week, quite very good over the walk-ins, but it goes slow at our e-hailings. Order keep up, so maybe people is going out. But all the restaurants implements all the SOP, which have sanitizing, the sitting turnover, and all the staff best practice of using what we call this keep sequence of washing their hands, is all the SOP which needs to follow to sustain in the business. But what I can say also, with all these obstacles, actually, we turn it to challenges and problems to survive and succeed for the next. And we really hope that after this 1-2 weeks, the business will pick up. But I can say our outlet in KL is pick up about 30% for the past 1 week for the walk-ins. And then I would like to I like that Mr. Halim Malikan say about that hospitality, because I'm a pure hotelier. I start my industry in 1988. So hospitality is the attitude. So attitude is very important in our industry. Whatever challenges we face, we need to very strong, very creative, and also at the same time, what we're doing actually in the WG, we get to use all the staff first, to get all the staff to order our own product, right? For example, I got here Tapaula. We need a very creative. This is my view brand, Tapaula. You can like and share my Tapaula. We have a new product. We also sell ready foods, which you can order food, and then you just soak in the boiling water for 30 minutes, and you can serve. We venture also very drastic actions. We go for frozen food, which you can keep. For example, I got a very good kamyong. Kamyong is a frozen kamyong, so they can order, they can keep for at least 3 months, right? A lot of people buying it. They can keep in the house for more than 2 months actually, and they buy by bulk purchase. They buy 12, 24, because everybody cannot move around. So this is one of the way actually, beside of the e-commerce or e-hailing or any other third-party platform, right? Although the Ramadan, we joined the Bazaar Ramadan e-commerce, right? So whatever channel opportunity returns to build our brand. That's the way we try to overcome this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Tuan Syed. As you say that the F&B sector from your side has picked up quite well, 30%, right? For the last week.
Now, before this, we doing about last week we can manage to get about a 30% increase of the revenue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, as what Datuk Dr. Omar has shared, that more than 90% of the tourists are only willing to join the tourism activities after 6 months to 1 year. Okay, is that take the same duration for diners to go back to dine in restaurant?
I think actually this is Malaysians, our patrons is quite very different actually, you know. For Malaysians, when PM announced can balik kampung, everybody will balik kampung. And people, when the PM say that, okay, restaurant open, everybody will rush to the restaurant, you know. This is Malaysians. And then if PM say, okay, barber is open, so everybody cut hair. I just cut my hair, you know? 3 months don't cut hair, but I believe slowly we're going to pick up, just a matter of how we what you call this to keep the trust, you know, because my own way actually, I got my own strength, you know. I build my guests with friendships, right? So the most important thing for me, beside all this walk-in restaurant, which I can say a bit slow in Bangsa, actually, a bit slow in Bangsa pickup, but I did want to see more on actually functions events, because we do also meeting packages, we do AGM, we go events for F&B, because we got our own ballrooms and our own hall, we got private rooms. So actually, this is all the activity which contribute us more on the revenue to sustain in the market, you know. So I just hope the social distancing is quite released a bit, right? I got AGM on 22nd of June, you know, this coming at one of my outlets, which they cancelled to July because not get any approval yet. So beside of this walk-in, which I can say is picking up, but I did rather to see more on events, you know, because this is the income which actually we gain more. Yeah. That's about it, Puan Waiza.
Yes, now the hotels in Nigeria, they are competing to get customers, okay? They're doing promotion, rebates, you know, in order to get customers to come to dine to their place. Perhaps you would share some promotion initiative efforts that you have at your place, at the outlet that you have in your organization?
Currently, actually, I got none actually.
Sure. We are giving you this space to promote, to promote your organization.
Oh, okay. Kapala is e-hailing, so you can like and share our Tapala and check out our menu. We got ready to eat foods, and we also have frozen foods. And then more creative things is coming in, and then especially soon I'm going to launch also my party menu, which you actually can help because you cannot move anywhere. People is skeptical still, so you can have your own small party at your house. You cannot cook pasta, you can call us. For example, we're going to have our party packages for Tapawa. Right, so over food tree, I get approvals also actually for this special event for today. Right, I'm giving 10% discount to my food tree located at Bangsa, a shopping complex, level 4, beside of Jungle Gym actually. And then also at Glenmary. And then I'm also we do some changes in our pinning. It's a Copacabana. It's a top view pinning. Go and check out top view, please. It's very good a place to relax and dine in. We're coming up with a very good, unique, cheap menu at the top. Start from July. Right, so the top also going to open soon. So please support us at this the top and also the both food tree. You just present your link, right, to all my staff there, and you are entitled for 10% discount. And for Jungle Gym, it's a playland. You can go to our Facebook and also Insta. You can see we are throwing some pre-opening ticket sales, which we are planned. If PM announce very soon, so we're looking at 1st of July to kick off our jungle gyms. Because I believe the children also is waiting to play around, Yeah, that's all.
Right. Okay. That's a lot of promotions and also activities has installed. We're waiting for the full market to open. So I guess the public also waiting for the right time where it's safe to to dine back with family in a restaurant. Thank you, Jahalim, for the insights for the food and beverage sector. Next, we will listen from the hotel sectors on how does the hotel deal with the COVID-19, the outbreak of COVID-19. We have with us Mr. Leslie Pereira, the General Manager of Holiday Villa Hotel and Conference Center in Subang. Okay, Mr. Leslie, how do your hotel deal with the business challenges during this COVID-19? And how would hotel sectors exploit the new normal business in order to boost the hotel business? Yes, please, Mr. Leslie.
Thank you, Puan Raiza, and thank you, Unita, for the invite to share in this eForum. Good afternoon, distinguished panel and everyone attending. With regards to your question, I think how did we deal specifically? I think the mind frame was to be very resilient to the impacts. The three main criteria, I would say, that were planned as a management strategy was number one, looking at the availability of cash and cash flow when the crisis first started. So we had to firstly maximize one-time revenue opportunities. For example, we were lucky that the government used our hotel for the quarantine program for returning overseas Malaysians, which we were fortunate enough to be chosen as one of the centers after applying. Apart from also doing our part as assisting the government in the fight against COVID-19, which I think was very well handled by the authorities. It was also a lifeline for the hotel itself, as I'm sure it was for other hotels which participated in this program. So we were actually very fortunate to be selected for the program, and it helped us a lot. So that was the initial part that actually helped us in assessing, our cash flow and what cash we can spend and can't spend and things like that. Number two, F&B operations for the hotel had to think outside the box, very much like what Tuan Syed and Encik Halim said earlier, to promote, find short-term, non-traditional sources of income. For example, like Tuan Syed was saying, the hotel also did e-Ramadan offerings for Buka Puasa via online and also takeaway. We did delivery to houses for those, certain hotels that had hotel transports and things like that. They took the initiative to have their own e-hailing. But of course, we also engaged with third-party e-hailers such as Foodpanda and GrabFood. And it's quite surprising that taking that bit of initiative did help in F&B revenue. Of course, it'll be totally different from whatever hotels earn for the normal Ramadan break and things like that, Ramadan promotions. But it did help in terms of cash. We also offered takeaway services, for instance, promoting our signature dishes at up to almost 50% discounts from the normal selling prices. So these kind of initiatives and all that really helped. The second criteria that we took was we realigned and reduced costs. How we did that was, of course, we relooked at all our suppliers and service providers to renegotiate monthly charges, agreeing on deferment, wherever possible, of payments, for instance, which actually always accumulate to a very large amount in terms of fixed costs. Another reduction during this period, how we managed things was reduction of labor costs, which of course labor costs in almost any industry is almost the highest cost incurred. But of course, as Halim was saying, the programs that came out from the government, such as the ERP, the Employee Retention Program, where employees are assisted by the government, of course, while on leave. And as business picks up, the employees are then brought back in stages. We finished our quarantine program on the 10th, so we had a bit of a leeway to sort of let the dust settle, so to speak. Then, we actually, this is the first day we reopened. And, bookings look quite positive. Of course, not the norm that we have. But then we slowly start calling people back, wherever, whichever department really needs it. We start calling people back. So we don't have to wait for the whole 6 months to finish the ERP program. And this is something that, due to, how to motivate staff and things like that, of course, we don't want people to be on the program. But when push comes to shove and, it's really needed, we really need to do it. The third criteria is, of course, deferment of all capital expenditures, whatever was planned, to a time that would be more viable, I suppose, to continue with any projects that were supposed to be done. Of course, the other part would be the marketing side. Sales and marketing had a good 2.5 months to put a lot of planning for future businesses that was done in terms of promotions that are upcoming. And of course, the reopening stage for mainly the leisure and corporate segments that I feel would be the initial part of how business will pick up. Mainly leisure, corporate will still take a while more to happen, just as Encik Halim was saying. In terms of the new norm of how we are going to do or have been doing, the new norm is something that we all will have to live with. It is something new, and just as Encik Halim said, very soon the word new will be dropped. It'll just be norm. It'll just be a normal thing that will happen. It's not a choice. It's a necessity. I think hotel customers will be extra conscious about well-being, health, safety, hygiene, security, and I think every hotel today, when they reopen and they want to do their promotions, I think the magnifying glass will be on whether they're doing the right things the right way without any shortcuts, because I think people just want to be safe. People want to know that, certain things that are said are being really done, But I think by taking this all very positively, daily work, daily thinking of this new norm, so-called new norm, or how we do work and following the SOPs very stringently and all that, I think work will be more efficient. Efficiency will definitely go up because you are spending actually more time. You will have to spend more time to achieve the same result, and obviously you'll have to work faster because then you can sort of gauge efficiency. And also think communication to customers and staff are the most important in terms of information and educating staff and educating the customers as to how we do things, what we are doing new, giving them the confidence of sanitizing, for instance. And also as an employer and a service provider, I think from that point of view, staff will have more confidence in us, and customers also will have more confidence in visiting our property. The advantages also of promoting healthy living, good sanitization, giving the full confidence to guests, and during these times also, it's not only us on the service side that are affected. Guests are also affected. Guests come and certain guests are probably laid off and things. So empathy to customers also is very important. So it is sort of a whole package of a real hospitality experience. As Encik Alim said also, marketing is selling experience. We want to sell an experience, and it's just that this experience that we sell now is a new kind of experience. And it's actually for the good, it's still healthy living. It is promoting cleanliness, hygiene, and things like that. So during these times, I think that is very important. Communication. In terms of business operations, this is actually a very good time to start negotiations with things like, as how I earlier said, suppliers, re-looking at products to ask if we are actually getting the best product at the best price. There are many providers, all kinds of providers, perishable, non-perishables, systems, communication devices that we use, who are in the same boat as us also. So I think as a hotelier, we should always put ourselves in not only customers' shoes, but also our providers' shoes, service providers' shoes. And a win-win situation must always be the end thing. This is a time, as even Dr. was saying earlier, it is a time for not only hotels and agencies to work together hand in hand. It is also hotels and suppliers, hotels and service providers, hotels and whatever provider that provides a service to the hotel for us to provide service to the customer. This is the time to win. Partnerships should be strengthened. So basically, in a nutshell, I think also we have to look at our supply chain. Individual hotels have to look at their own supply chains to see whether they're getting the best product at the best price and so on. And of course, doing all this while practicing the best practice policies at all times. That is very important also. The other areas that could boost businesses during this new norm era is to look at loopholes also. It's not only business opportunities or opportunities that you can get, but I think this is a good time to sit down and reflect at loopholes that could happen in your own organization, such as brand protection. When a crisis happens, and even now, it's only 2-3 months into the crisis. So how fast companies or hotels respond to the crisis, I think that is of utmost importance. If policies of the new norm are practiced uniformly, are practiced straight away, activated fast, SOPs from the government are all followed, it will definitely have a positive. Positive implications on how their brand, individual brands are perceived in the long run. Another example could be cyber threats, because rogue forces today could take advantage from use of the amount of online personal computing devices being used today, hackers. So it's actually a very good time to look at the efficiency of our, for example, firewalls, systems and other software capabilities that individual companies do. And so this is also a few things that here at Holiday Villa we are looking at, not only in this hotel, but as a group. As for the foreseeable future, for between 3 and 6 months, just as how it was discussed earlier, I see the leisure market as coming up first. When I say leisure market, it's also leisure as in local families traveling. The younger generation, the older generations, I don't see much movement yet. There's much hope also, for working together with Tourism Malaysia, whether at a state level or at a federal level, to assist further, and also, to work hand in hand on the promoting the hotels, as Dato' Doctor was saying earlier, rolling out promotions such as Cuti Malaysia, highlighting certain areas where hotels are significantly situated, things like that. And to promote the destinations that we have around Malaysia, because for the next, I'd say 3 to 4 months, that is all that we will be looking at. Even with the news of borders opening and things like that to foreigners, it is unsure of people's sentiment right at this moment, and it's still early days to see. So domestic travel must be fully concentrated on, I suppose, at the moment. And this will carry on probably for the next 4 or 5 months. The corporate segment will take a little longer to come back, as there are still many restrictions on things like seminars, conferences, meetings, restrictions of capacity. For instance, no doubt, SOP of a conference, you cannot go more than 250, but as Encik Alim also said, a wedding is a social event, so that's a totally different thing. We have seen personally here, because Holiday Villa Subang is quite famous for weddings, and we have seen a good 30% of cancellations, maybe 10 to 15% of deferment. So from our side, we not only giving a discount, but we value add. So, to gain their confidence, of course, we have to prove to them that, okay, once social gatherings are allowed, I suppose SOPs have to stringently be followed, because I think social gatherings are totally different from conference and seminars, because they are more uniformed and people are more, focused on the training itself. Where social, people want to enjoy and, take selfies and other social activities. So that would have more stringent SOPs to be followed. So as the SOPs follow, I think it's just from a hotel point of view, it would be very important to again gain the customers' confidence that we are fully capable of performing a large event. It may be 300, it may be 400. When this thing is relaxed, or when social gathering is allowed again, we, Holiday Villa Subang, is at advantage, because we have 3 different ballrooms. One sits 1,000, one sits 500, one sits 350. So with the social distancing, obviously, if it was 500, it would go down to 250. So we could play around with the 3 ballrooms that we have. So that would be a big advantage to us, even with seminars. So playing with numbers wouldn't be an issue. So promotions and giving discounts and all that is one thing, but I think a lot of hotels forget that the main criteria actually to do the social distancing correct, do the SOPs correct, get everything in place, is actually motivating your staff to do it. I think it's important that teamwork today within the organization is important. There's no more. There should be no more my job, your job, I don't do your job, you don't do my job, that sort of thing. And I'm glad to say that Holiday Subang has sort of cultivated that attitude, and I'm quite happy for the time being that that step has been taken, because without soldiers, nothing can be done. Whether it is a hotel, whether it's an industry, whether it's a company, even for instance, a university. There are captains, there are generals, there are soldiers, but teamwork, especially during these difficult times, what I can see, especially during the quarantine period that we had, we were full with people, but my team stepped up, and they did things systematically. They planned things out well. Different departments did things that they weren't supposed to do. So the outcome was good, and I think with teamwork, every outcome is good. So yeah, so we are coming out with different promotions. We have reopening special prices, reopening special deal, discount by decade, meaning you can see visit our website, www.hollyvillahotels.com, and even after the domestic travel has finished, one advantage that we can have with the Holiday Villa Group is, in Malaysia we have the Holiday Villa Langkawi, one in Cherating, one in Johor, and of course in Subang. In total, we have 21, which is in Asia, Middle East, and Europe. So we will be doing simultaneous promotions that coincide with each other. So people can visit the website, and being positive, I think, is the main criteria to overcome this whole pandemic and sad times. But being positive also, I think, will bring out the resilience in us and bring out the best in people.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Leslie.
Thank you,
That's from the point of view of hotel, and I believe from the discussion, your team has worked very hard with your leadership in order to overcome the COVID-19 pandemic and the challenges faced through the turbulence. One point you have shared is that the hotel is not only looking from the external part, where only from the customer, but other important thing is to take care, motivate your staff.
Yes.
Because the staff is the one to deliver the service. So if your staff are stable, your staff are motivated, they will produce a good quality of service.
Yes, I mean it's leadership by example. For instance, I'll spend a minute just telling one small story. 20 odd years ago, I was a student in college doing hotel and catering, and I met Encik Halim because I had to do a project. And the same things that he has advised earlier is the same things he told me 22 years ago. And you build up your leadership skills, you build up your motivational skills, you learn from your team as also, and all this, I think, is important to get through this period. So it's not only the hardware that you have, it's not only promotions that you can have, it's not only whether you have a beautiful pool or whether you have the best sanitizer in the world. It is also your team that has to kick in to make all this happen. That's my personal point of view on it.
Very true. Okay, thank you, Mr. Leslie.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next we will look from the perspective of travel sector. How does the travel sector face the challenges from the pandemic COVID-19? We have with us Yang Berbahagia Datuk Syed Muhammad Razif Al-Yahya, the Group Managing Director and Group Chief Executive Officer, Sutra Utama Group of Committees Sdn Bhd. Well, Datuk Syed, how significant is the reopening of the tourism activities at this point of time? And how would the travel sectors exploit the new normal of business in order to boost the tourism industry? Datuk, please unmute your mic.
I'm sorry. Okay. I think I'm here now. Okay.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for inviting me to be into one of the speaker into this eForum, which is organized by UNITA. And dear distinguished speakers, and most of them I know them personally because I've been in this industry for quite some time, as they are, Datuk Dr. Amar, Cik Halim, and Tuan Syed, and Mr. Leslie. Okay, what I'm going to share with all of you here, based on the current situations, the challenges, where we are, company of Sutra Travel Management Group of Company, as well as what's actually our plan into moving forward. As what Puan Ruhaiza asked me just now, the question I will probably go to bundle together from what I would say sharing with the the rest of those actually who hear this eForum. Okay, basically, what actually happened now is something never happened before. I could say this pandemic 19 is something is very unusual, and I could say the world has changed because all the time from before, people changed the world, and from manual into technology and into space. So this is actually what's happening before and right now. And what happened now, because of this conflict, is happened the other way around, which is will change the people, and we got no other choice. So we have to face it, and this is where we talk about the words of new normal came out. And I believe when you talk about new normal, it actually is being used to what we have been practiced before without realizing that new normal has been practiced individually. Maybe I can just share you some example here. Probably during our children's time, those days when they start to go to school, it is a new normal for us. When we enter maybe into a college or university, it is a new normal for us because we have to adapt the situation. And even after we start to work, well, we have to adapt to that. It's a new normal. And even we talk about after our marriage, it's new normal. And we have a family, it's a new normal for us. This is what the new normal is all about. So, but now, this is something that what happened that everybody is going to new normal due to pandemic COVID-19. So this is what actually happened, and of course I believe what's going to happen here, we need to reset ourselves, and we need to reset our business model, and even government have to reset their policy. So everything is changed. So due to this, as what I said, well, as far as we are concerned, that we belong to a travel group management of company, we have set ourselves into how to face the situation. Okay, let me introduce into what we are doing. Basically, we belong to a Sutra travel and tourism group management of company, which consists of 10 subsidiaries. So all the subsidiaries actually are all into, well, travel and tourism related. So where we are focusing is more towards the retail and services. We have technology, we have management company, we have educations, we have event, we have franchise, and we also have talk about consultations. This is where what we are doing is all into travel and tourism related. So basically our main core actually consists of two. One is a product and services, the other one is solutions. So when we talk about services, well, we make ourselves different compared to the rest because we have moved into technology since for the past 10 years. So basically, in-house, one of our subsidiary, we have, I would say, formed a technology company. So we focus more into how to develop and how to support and how to power travel and technology in this industry. So this is something that really help us in terms of how that we're going to face actually in the future. And right now, I think everybody can see what is so important about technology. Because of the situation right now, everybody is being forced to move into technology because we got no other choice. If otherwise, we're going to be left behind. So what Sri Sutra actually is doing, I'm going to focus into Sri Sutra because this is where my core, as well as I would say the solution, which is powered by our technology arm. Sri Sutra Travel, in fact, we are into retails. We sell product and packages plus services. This is actually what we are doing. And what currently we have, before even what we have developed more than 1 million products and packages. And then when we talk about market, we have covered more than 5,000 POS, point of sales, whereby if you talk about to manage more than 1 million products and to cover more than 5,000 POS, we cannot do manually anymore. So we got no other choice that we have to get and to build a system in order to manage these two areas, whereby it is an important element into how to do business and how to move, forward in order for us to sustain, in order for us to, I could say, compete, especially with the big boys, those who come with the technology, those are foreigners, when they come here into our country, and they steal away our business. Those, I could say, online travel companies such as Agoda, Booking.com, Expedia, in fact, they are here to steal our business. So what's going to happen to us? So this is the challenges that why we are into developing the technology in order to avoid from this thing happens. So, okay, our product consists of three, which is a travel, tours, as well as services. So basically, what we have from what I mentioned to you, million product that what been, I would say, planted into our platform, as well as the point of sales that we have more than 5,000. So in order for us to move forward, so this is where we have planned for the year 2020, but due to COVID-19, so we have to revamp and change actually our plan and to create into a new strategy. So this is actually what exactly we're doing. This basically, I would like to share in terms of overall that when we talk about when the pandemic 19 started to grow in our country. Basically, the first thing what we are looking at is into how to survive, because right now, when this thing happened, eventually the revenue becomes zero. We can't move because everything gets stuck. So in order for us to sustain in our business, so of course, number one, that what we are looking is in terms of how to retain our business, how we're going to survive in order for us to move on without having any revenue to come. Have any revenue to come into that to support our business. And I could say government of Malaysia is, they have done something which is good. They are coming up with a stimulus plan, which the ERP as well as WSP that really help. The industry player and how actually they can even sustain in order for us to move on or maybe for them to survive. So basically, what actually had been offered by the government through this stimulus plan, through the moratorium. So we at least get some, I could say, fund that we have calculated that we could survive for the next 6 months. This is actually what we have done. So in order to cover the 6 months period, of course, we have to get what is the cost of our operating in our organization in order for us to plan for the next 6 months how that we're going to survive towards to that period. So basically, we have come up with a few models in order for us to manage that, especially in terms of how that we're going to retain the staff. So we coming up with three, I would say, steps into how to practice to survive. Number one is to go on the salary reduction, because the staff seem to be understand actually what's happening. They are willing and to go on this program of the deduction. So this is actually what we practice on the second month of this pandemic. Then we have the next step is more into further deduction as well as unpaid leave. So this is where currently we are right now, because we can, I would say, sustain on the first step that what we have done, because as what I have earlier mentioned, we don't have revenue at all. So in order for us to sustain, so we need to reduce more in order for us to retain the situation. So that's what we already come into the second step, which is salary reduction as well as unpaid leave. This is a combination of both. And then the third, which is the third step, which we try not to avoid, this is more into retrenchment. So, well, it depends on the situation. Let's say if the situation still prolong into the next couple of months, we got no other choice, so we need to go to the next step. To the next step in order for us to survive, in order, of course, to retain our business, rather than individual staff into trouble. Much well we have to take care of the company as a whole, because at least when the company is still in operation, at least we still can engage many staff under the umbrella of the company. So this is actually what we are doing. And even also to look into how to reduce some other expenses, those you talk about electricals, water, the other ancillaries, those you talk about telephones that if you were to operate from the office. So we have actually a special program that what we did in our company, due to we have a technology that who can support that. We have created a system called e-office. So this e-office, actually what we are doing, we are working from home. So practically this system actually is good enough as how you physically come to the office. We can work from home, we can do all the tracking. We know, of course, every morning those staff, if they want to come to work, they need to sign in, and we know they have signed in, and during lunchtime they can sign out and then come in again, and before they can off by the end of the day at around 5:30 p.m. So practically, in order of their attendance, actually we can monitor. At the same time, the system that what we have built, in fact, we know what are they doing. Let's say any assignment had been given to them, we can track whether they are really into to support or maybe to finish the assignment. So that also can be tracked from our system for the account as well. So basically, any activity regards to account, we will know, and how much invoice has been issued, what product has been purchased. Everything is all will be captured from the system that what we have. Basically, this is what actually we have done, and how actually been operated in our organization. Okay, let's me go into, I bring you to what's next actually we intend to do. Basically, we have a program called a rebound program. A rebound program, this is something that we expect the market will be rebound, as all of us we'll know that's going to happen. But of course, we need to identify which are the market that we think will rebound first. So practically, we are focusing more into a business market, because business market is being required by those who need to travel for their meetings, or they were to attend into something. Leisure, I think it would be, but it's not going to be very, very soon. If you talk about packages, but if you talk about single item, let's say if they want to go to the hotel, they can go direct to the hotel. But for packages, we think it's not going to be happen immediately. And furthermore, when it comes to that situation, for us to develop those packages, I don't think we can do it, I would say, quite fast, due to some, I would say, issue in terms of getting the rates that coming from our partners operators, because when we talk about creating a packages, we are not focusing into one, which is hotel. We are going into others beside hotel. We need to communicate with the ground transportation company, the entrances, the restaurant, and then you talk about the theme parks, and then you talk about entertainment tickets. So these are the things that we need actually to communicate in order for us to create a package whereby some of them could not come up with the price yet due to some, I would say, due to new policy that what had been formed by the government in order to make into compliance of COVID-19. So now they are doing that. So basically, what we are doing is something that we have created. We do actually have some contact directly. So we managed to do some, and well, just for your information, that we have come up with our launching of Sutra online travel fair. We just started about 2 days ago. If you're free, you can go to www.sutra.my. You can see we have offered more than 50 domestic packages. And those packages that what we have showcased in our platform is something that we have a direct, I would say, contact, a direct contracting with the respective partners. And of course, we later on, we intend to have more. And this is what is going to happen due to the situation. And I believe by next couple of weeks, we could have more than 100 packages that what to be offered from our platform. So this is actually what we are doing. Well, we are also working very closely with Tourism Malaysia because due to what they have announced earlier, the focus of the to stimulate actually the industry, they're going to start with domestic. Of course, with domestic that were into certain market that where they are looking at, which is into leisure, into corporates, into B2B. Well, along the way that where their direction, we just I would say follow through in order to support, in order to make sure that we are not going anywhere wrong as the direction of our government, especially through Tourism Malaysia. And basically, we are also going to launch a few platforms, which is SME booking tools, for corporate booking tools. We also have government booking tools as well as B2B booking tools. Those are, I would say, based on digital, and this is something that what we are looking for, what actually we are going to focus, and this is something that be required by the industry players. So for information, we are really go into digitalization, and we have started developing our digital platform for the past 8 years, and we have spent I would say so much of money into that, and practically those digital platform that what have we developed, it covers end to end, which is the front, mid, and the back. The front end consists of booking engine, and of course when booking engine that consists of the products as well as together with the payment gateway. Then we have the mid end. We also develop a CRM as well as ERP that to support into this platform, and we have one at the back end which is more into accounting, I would say, software that are integrated from end to end. So the market that where we are into is to cover all the 5 main market, which is B2B, B2C, B2E, B2G, and OTA. So B2B stands for business to business, B2C, business to consumer, B2E, business to enterprise, B2G is government, as well as OTA, online travel agent. On top of that, for our B2B, we have sub-market. we have actually a platform that to support the wholesales. We have travel agent, we have kiosks, we have freelance at work from home, we have membership program before it goes to the consumer. So those level actually will determine a commission payout. So whoever going to be your partner, where they're going to be positioned, and based on the level that what they belong to, this is where they go to earn a commission. So this is actually what we are doing in terms of moving forward to, I would say, sustain. In terms of current situation in US, we agreed, we face like others, but when the things, when the situation will be into, I would say, into a better position, we strongly believe that we can really move, move on in order to offer, our solution out to the market. And I come to the question as what Puan Ruhaiza asked me just now, whether to open the tourism, government to open, what is the impact? When to open, what actually my point of view with I can share with you, if they want to open, let open the entire rather than they open some of the sector or some of the product, which I think is not going to be good for the industry, because of course I think the situation now in Malaysia, we are we managed actually to control the pandemic, and of course we need to comply the policy or the SOP that what been set by the government. And to me, well, I don't see any big problem. Let's say if you were to open this, tourism sector to all the industry players, I think this should be done immediately. And of course, I hope the situation could become better. And well, in terms of working closely with the rest of our tourism partners, we need to be together. We need to be united in order for us to face this situation. And of course, with all the coordination that coming from all of us here, and I believe we can really, I would say, solve, this problem by moving together in order for us to make the industry become alive like before. So probably this is what I could share for at this point of time, Puan.
Thank you, Dato' Syed Razif, for the insight from the travel industry. So everybody is positive to get back on track to reopen the business, and Dato' Syed Razif organization, actually they have started much earlier in digitalize their operation, 8 years, 10 years back. So they I guess well prepared when this outbreak pandemic 19 happens. So that will be advantage to companies such Sutra Travel, because they have been prepared 8 years back in digitalize their operation. All right. So next, we will open for Q&A, questions to the industry players. So we will have 20 minutes of allocation time for the Q&A. So I shall open the Q&A to participants and guests.
Assalamualaikum Puan Ruhaiza. Amri here from UNITA International University.
Waalaikumsalam, Cik Amri. Yes, please, Cik Amri.
Okay, this question actually to all the panels. Since that the COVID-19 attacked the whole world for the past 3 months, on our education sector, we feel that especially in our programs in hospitality, it's very difficult for the student to get internship. Whereby there are more students have been rejected on their internship. So it's pity to them, so that they might graduate late, So I hope that all the panels can help in this situation to make sure that not only our university in UNITA, I think most of the universities, private and I think the IPTA, IPTS, so that to make sure that our industry will grow and it doesn't affect dynamically. So it will go follow through, with the new normal, just accept it. But I just hope that you all can war-warkan lah. That's my question. Thank you very much to all the panels.
I would just like to take this point, Rosa.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks, Amri. I think what you say is true. I am actually a big believer of, being from college and having done industrial training with yourself, Amri, together. I think industrial training is a very important thing to start off your career, because you get the first-hand look at the hotel. And here at Holly Villa, I think we've had UNITA before. We do a lot with UITM. We do a lot with Sunway. But I think what the point you're trying to make is, I think, very true. Hotels should actually, and maybe it should be initiative from the government agency part, saying, maybe 30% of your manning should be trainees, because I won't disagree. They are a big help to our operations, as in cost-wise, as in you get fresh perspective of thinking and ideas. Your student comes out from practical training from the kitchen in the college, coming into a hotel. They're excited to sometimes show off what you learn in college and things like that. Of course, there's good. It's all good. Good fun in the kitchen, but I agree with you, and I think from maybe the hotel association part, we can discuss more on this initiative.
If I can add on to that, Leslie and Puan Raiza, Amri, I think it's a very good point, and I totally agree with what Leslie said with regards to internship, because I too went through the same scenario. And I think every year, at least twice, hotels, human resource department managers will approach the general managers of all hotels and ask the same question. Oh, I have a request from UNITA. I have a request from UNITEN. I have a request from UITM. I believe we need a good system in place whereby perhaps all universities with internship program that you want to allocate to hotels come through one channel.
Yeah.
We have 1,200 members. Yeah. And I'm sure combined with Maho members as well, that's about 700 of them, if I'm not mistaken. That's already about almost 2,000 hotels in total. Yeah. That will be more than happy to accept interns. But the problem that we are getting now here is some universities are contacting some hotels, not all hotels. People like Taylor's University, they only contact the 5-star hotel. That leaves the UNITA University having probably 3-star or 4-star hotels to send their interns. But I think if we are able to actually find a way, a system where, let's say in that year, there is 1,000 interns coming out. That means you're looking for at least 1,000 hotels to place them if it's one intern, one hotel, as an example. So at least that way, as how Leslie says, we want to have interns. We want to be able to train them for the industry properly. And if this is able to be accomplished, I'm sure I will have to speak to my secretariat to see how we can work this out from an association standpoint to draw in a pool of interns, and then we disseminate back to the hotels. I'm sure you have students from Alostar who would probably love to go back to Alostar to do internship.
Yes, that's true.
No? Or to Kelantan or whatever. So at least, work, belajar, while you can also spend time with family. Things like that. I think it's a good point, and we'll definitely look into this from the association standpoint as well.
Thank you very much, Alim. Thank you very much, Les. And thanks.
Just for information, Cik Abri, in fact, we have a program for internship online in our organization. Let's say if any one of you interested, or if you have any friend would like to trained here as an internship program. We have those, but we only can cover about 10. So far, we have about 5 doing into this online internship program. So we have another 5 more vacant, which is mainly more into marketing, IT, and copywriting. So that's.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear, Datuk. I will make sure my student will apply.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Datuk Razif.
Yeah, for us in OWG, yes, can write in. Very most welcome.
Thank you, Tuan Syed. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Very most welcome.
Thank you, panels. It seems that the panels welcome practical training students even though during this COVID-19, and we are happy to hear that. Okay, I pick one questions from the chat box. How does hospitality operation address expensive overhead to maintain the properties such as air condition, to control humidity, food freezers, public area cleanliness, etc.? I've seen many operators face this challenge and some has fell off the grid. Would the hotel industry be looking at a new norm such as offering new services in the hotel as part of the lifeline, or wait till a better position? These are more to the
Can I jump into this one, Leslie?
Yeah.
Okay, of course, overheads will always be there when we talk about operating a hotel, yeah? But I think what this pandemic has taught us to do is to seriously diversify the spaces that we have in the hotel. It has let us work towards a better way or a better system to know how we want to operate. This, in fact, should not only involve the hotel operators. We should look at the technical side of things because, yes, we know air condition is one of the highest, and there are ways to control the disbursement of your chillers in terms of how much or which area of the hotel you want to have the aircon to be provided to. This will definitely need a technical aspect to this matter. The second thing is also if you want to look at chill water from the aircon, the discharge of the chill water can be reused through a hybrid system to generate back hot water to the rooms. So that is one saving on one side. So you got to seriously look at the green index, building index capabilities of what your building can do and work towards getting a better and more efficient system in place. As for food freezers, yes, that's the other one that's running 24 hours, 365 days. There is also, again, other ways of preparing your food, which is through chill cooking, using a different way of looking at how your menus are set up in order for you to ensure that the food items that you have has a very quick lifespan on the shelf. That means what comes in goes out immediately. So again, you don't need to have such big freezers. Some hotels that you walk in, they have multiple walk-in freezers, which is very expensive to operate. So again, you got to seriously look at how the menu is being set in order to know what food items I need to store, how long I need to store it. Of course, hotels with banqueting, large banqueting, again, that's another different scenario because you may have 1,000, 2,000 people who are having a big lunch in the morning or the afternoon, and then dinner you turn around for a wedding. Again, situations like this, we need to manage it in such a way that we don't store items too long, too much. Because on the other side of the coin, should there be a blackout and your items are all in the freezer, you will also have spoilage.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of scenarios that you got to look at, yeah. And I think what COVID-19 has done for us is to seriously look at how we operate our business, how we can work smarter in a very short span to achieve what target we want to achieve at the end of the day. So we need to make sure that, when we open up now in this recovery stage, that all the items that we are looking at, the menus that you're looking at, You know, I give you a very good example. If those of you who are familiar with the weekend buffet of Shangri-La Hotel, Kuala Lumpur, they have like 10 to 15 different show kitchens with different items. But if anybody really notice it, everybody likes to go for the seafood. But the other counters are actually having the same ingredients. If there's one terung apa ni, masak masala in the Indian stand, you'll have a terung in the Chinese stall, you'll have terung in the Western stall. So that's again managing your costs in terms of ingredients that you require. Because marketing for them was to push the seafood. But the other show kitchens had very minimal but delicious items using same ingredient. Again, there itself, your storage requirements is different. You don't need to store so much. Example lah, yeah? Okay. So I hope that helps the question. Ngo Chi Kiong, thank you very much.
Yes, participant, any more questions from the floor? Okay, I'll read from the chat box. There's one question on tourist age limit. Is there any age limitation to check in into hotel, since senior citizens and children are the most easily affected age group to COVID-19? What is your plan to overcome this?
I'll just take that. I think it's not so much of a plan to overcome it because there are actually no restrictions. Like throughout the forum that we were talking about, as in, I think it is up to us, the public, you know, the Malaysians to know the SOPs, to know the dangers that are out there, to know what to practice, and of course, you know, we follow the rules and regulations that the government has given. So there's actually no age limit. Like the hotels, I don't think will say that, you know, below 6. But of course, we ask people to take care, right? And of course, from my standpoint of view, from a hotel, if somebody elderly comes and it is highlighted to us, we will take that extra care. But as in a general, just like SOPs are coming out for banquet halls and seminars and weddings and things like that, advice from the government is, you know, there are certain things that people should look into, families should look into before doing certain traveling and things like that. I think being safe, you know, being safe, taking care of the well-being is the most important thing. Then there's no actual restrictions. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Cik Alim?
Okay, in terms of what you're saying is correct. We accept children, we accept elderlies and all sort of thing. However, one restriction would be if the person who is checking in is a minor and is checking in on themselves. That means somebody who's below 18 and has got no parents accompanying, then there is a restriction.
Yes.
Yeah, so it has to be 18 years and above because that's the Malaysian law, right? And I think this is something where, again, when it comes to hotel, it's a positive place to stay because of our SOPs. And when you talk about age restriction, this is where the danger of Airbnb, whereby they don't check. And I think as a community, we need to ensure that the moral and all that sort of non-vice issues are being controlled. Yeah? So at hotel, we manage this. So if you are below 18 and on your own, then it's not allowed. Only above 18 unless you are accompanied by adults. Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you, Encik Halim and Ms. Pereira. Any more questions from the floor?
There's one here by Muhammad Sharil on his opinion that this is the right time and best time for hotels to emphasize on employees' training to improve their productivity and quality of service delivery. Absolutely. This is the right time, especially in terms of the training in accordance to the guideline. That's number one. Yeah, everybody not only the frontliners. When I say everybody, means right up to the general manager needs to know and understand the SOPs. I think that's very important. And then, of course, due to the contactless situation that we are having, there are a lot of applications, there are a lot of digitalization that is happening. And this is another form of training that needs to happen. All right? How do we give excellent service in these current times when you cannot actually be close enough to the customers? So that needs to be taught on how to handle customers and guests without a face-to-face situation. All right. Worst thing, if you are wearing a mask, you don't even know whether you are actually having our staff smiling or not. So that's another challenge, right? So this is the right time. Definitely emphasize on training.
Okay, thank you, Encik Halim. Any more questions? We are about to. We're about 40. I think we should end the Q&A at this point. If you have any questions later on, you can be posted to the committee of Hospitality Forum. So with that, I will wrap up the session.
One.
Yes.
From Hairul, can I answer this one just very quickly before you wrap up?
Anxiety,
Sure,
Yeah.
please.
How would you manage fear and anxiety among staff working as a hotel frontliners? Communication. That would be my greatest answer. Communication, communication, communication. They must know what's happening and how to manage what's happening.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jalim. Okay. All right. With that, I wrap up the session. This is some of the pertinent points that has been shared by our panel. All businesses are bound to apply new SOP. Okay, even either you are in the travel sector, hotel, or the F&B sector, and now our life is surrounding with SOP, and including of SOP hygiene and social distancing. And this at the moment is a new norm in our life, but later it will be normal, okay, in our life, and it will be a practice that we need to do every day. To maintain sustainability, business sustainability, teamwork, and business strategy is important, together with positive mindset, shooting the same goal and the way forward that can be smoother to move your business in the future. Networking, collaboration between supply chain would enhance business, encourage and product service packages. Despite relying on government effort, company out there should strategize, okay, their new business in the new normal, and work together as a team in the hospitality and tourism industry, so we can revive back the tourism industry and position the industry as the one of the top important economic contribution to the nation. And last but not least, the very important is that the way forward in the tourism industry and also other business is going digitalized, because everything now is on online, and this is the way forward of business. I also wish to remind the guests and participants to fill up the Google Form survey, which has been put in the chat box. Okay, so from there we will have feedback, and we will know how to improve our future event. Okay, with that, to close, I would like to thank Encik Muhammad Halim Marikan, the Acting President of MA. Datuk Dr. Amar, Senior Director, Malaysia Tourism Promotion Board.
Thank you.
Wan Said Al-Faizal, the Operation Manager, F&B Attraction Division, Only World Group Holdings Berhad. And last but not least, Mr. Leslie Pereira, the General Manager, Holiday Villa Hotel and Suite Subang. And yang berbahagia, Datuk Syed Muhammad Razif Al-Yahya, Group Managing Director and Group Chief Executive Officer, Sutra Utama Group of Companies yang Berhad.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for participating in this eForum. Yeah, sure, it's a very insightful session, and I believe the participants has gained the latest information on the industry. For the rest of the participants, thank you for joining us, and we enjoy having you as participant. Should you have any queries on the eForum and content, please contact Puan Munira Saidin as shown on the slide. And if you're interested to know about the programs offered at UNITA International University, you can also contact Puan Azrin for hospitality and tourism program, and for the other program you could visit our website www.unita.my. With that, I end up the session, okay, and wish perhaps we will meet again in the next future. Assalamualaikum, and have a good day. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stay
Thank you.
safe.
Bye-bye.
Panelists,
Bye.
terima kasih Datuk
Terima
Nama, Datuk Razif. Ya,
Thank you.
take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank you very
Saya
much.
and Ruby, all the best. Stay safe.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.